is triceps, biceps, and a touch of forearms. At least forearm, like, flexors, this bottom part I want to thicken up. But I'm kind of just jumping straight into a continuation of what I was saying yesterday in the car. And one of the comments I got was, I don't know if I really agree with your logic, Sam. So this is in context to me saying my strong points are my back and my shoulders. So I want to bring up all my weak points: triceps, chest, legs. And the argument this guy was kind of saying was, well, why would you skip those other muscle groups? Like, what makes you think that you're gonna have more energy to grow your weak parts if you're not doing so much work having to recover your strong parts as well? And then he goes, so you're telling me that if for a whole year I only worked out my chest, that my chest would be bigger than if I just worked out everything together? His question was like, do you really think that's what's going to happen? And I mean, honestly, I think yes. I think if I were to look at my chest gains for this next year, or if it is bulk, it kind of, what's the word I'm thinking of? It counts. It's still, whatever. Regardless of time frame, if I completely stopped training every other part of my body and had somehow got under the mindset that I was going to destroy my chest, wait until my chest was recovered, be it 2 days, be it 3 days, and then come back and just hit my chest again and train nothing else, yeah, I think my chest is going to fucking grow. More than normal, for sure. Right? I mean, why do you think people develop certain imbalances, right? Why do you think the quads on like Olympic cyclists are so huge compared to their upper body? Or, I mean, fuck, man, not even counting training, if you ever see a video of like dudes who are into blacksmithing, I don't know if you guys know about oh crap, this would be a perfect shout out because I love these videos. They don't make them anymore, but it's the guys who would fuck, I can't remember. They're the guys who make all the anime swords. Like, they made, like, crap. What is it even called? Why am I forgetting? Like the swords from Sword Art Online. If you know, you know. But these guys who are sitting here with a fucking hammer in one hand and, like, just the pliers in the other, their hammer hand is getting way more work done. So their fucking right forearm is huge. And the left one, since it's just not getting so much work, is smaller. Now, I am inclined to believe that you get so much, let's just call it recoverability in your system. So if I were to completely cut out leg training for the next year, then yeah, I think that the trajectory of my upper body growth would, increase a little bit, because I don't have to deal with the trauma of leg training. Right? So when it comes to body parts that are out of proportion, then I do think it's going to be in your best interest. So just back off on the training of those ones and then keep training everything else until they come up to par. Now, the extreme of that situation would be like, okay, I'm just going to train my arms until I have 22-inch arms. And then once they're that big, I'm just going to train chest until I have an Arnold chest. And then I'm just going to, like, the extreme version, that would be just training stuff. But that's not fucking realistic. That's not even fucking, I'd go so far as to say it's probably not even possible. So if everything's in proportion, then yes, it's going to be in your best interest to just grow evenly across your whole frame, hit all your muscles equally, or as much as they need. Your leg workout volume and set intensity is going to look different than like your side delts or your smaller accessory muscles in a way. But that's sort of what I'm going for now. Right? So right now, I think that my back and my shoulders are ahead of the game. They're a level above everything else. So, in the spirit of balancing out and bringing up my weak points, I'm going to back off on the training of my back and shoulders and try to let everything else catch up. Now, that does not mean that I'm gonna completely skip training them entirely and just never do back again for like a few months. I am gonna do it every so often just because I want to. Partially, it's just I'm gonna miss having a back pump, and I miss shoulder pumps. That's why I just did shoulders yesterday. Not because I want bigger shoulders, but just because I wanted to pump them up. You know, it's good to hit them every so often. But I mean, this is just kind of something you're gonna run into if you train long enough, and your goal isn't just overall mass accrual. If the only thing I was concerned about, which I guess I do make it seem like this way, if my only concern was just getting as heavy as possible and putting as much muscle on my frame as possible, which kind of is what I'm into, then yeah, I would never skip back or shoulders because they're a strong point. I'd keep fucking hitting them until my shoulders were twice the size. But there's a constraint on my training, right? I want to get as big as possible, but keep that look, you know? Like if for whatever reason my legs doubled in size, then guess what? I wouldn't train them anymore because I don't want my upper body to catch up. You know, if you're, I mean, well, it's, when it comes to bodybuilding, it's a little bit silly to just quote and like look at the fucking high level, multiple Olympia competitor guys when it comes to their training, because obviously there's a lot of genetic predisposition. But I mean, we all hear about how Jay Cutler's legs were fucking huge to the point where he didn't train them for years and he let his upper body catch up. So if you got a gnarly pair of fucking legs, back off, hit everything else until they catch up. If your arms are out of this fucking world, maybe chill on arm day, work more on your back and chest to kind of bring everything up to par. You know, it's I'm trying to remember like the Arnold quote about how you got to grow all your muscles in proportion, you know. And it's not like, I don't go so crazy as to think like my arm size, I want to get my arms to be exactly the same size around as my calves. But I mean, we're not bodybuilding judges, but we can look at somebody, watch them, you know, hit some shots, and anybody can say, okay, man, your triceps need some work, your back needs some work, and your quads need some work. You know, this stuff isn't rocket science. It's not hard to see. So if that's you and you've got a strong point, I say back off. Just back off for a little bit. But getting away from that just sort of overall talk about lifting. What's the plan now? It's arms. It's freaking arms. Arms and forearms, I already said that. So push downs, dips, machine dips. Not really a huge fan of body weight dips for triceps. I will do them on a very rare occasion, usually in a superset fashion with chest. I do like that. But yeah, just a variety of push downs and dips. Probably some skull crushers, light later in the workout, so I don't have to totally wrench my elbows. Then a whole bunch of curls, and then the pose down. A little bit of forearms afterwards, but I might not even really show that. Because all it is like, you know, bent over on the bench, dumbbell curls. Oh, I thought I was going to sneeze. But let's park this thing and get started. Moderately light single arm, well, single arm loaded with both arms at 1/6 extensions. Perfect start. I haven't started triceps off with these for a while too, so it's never failed me in the past. Okay. Yeah. 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 Okay. One more. Okay. All right. I think usually I would move on to a push down, but let's change it up. Move on to dips. All right, so the stack is heavy, but it's not too heavy. So I'm thinking controlled, hold it at the bottom when I'm fresh for at least the first 10 or so reps. And then when I get to the point where I really can't finish a complete rep, just burn out partials. Okay. Yeah. 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 Okay. A few more. Yeah. 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 Okay. One more. Oh my goodness. Yeah. 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 Okay. I think it's time for some heavy push downs. In all lifters' journeys, you get to a point where the stack is not enough. But for a select few, you get to the point where 2 stacks is not enough. I don't think I could get 3. I think if somehow there's a 3rd stack's worth of weight, that would probably be too much. But 2 is close to the sweet spot. I don't really feel like there's a need to go much heavier than this. So I think a few sets here, and then probably finish with some skull crusher supersets, and triceps is done. You know, nothing too complicated, just, you know, push some shit. Oh my god. Yeah. 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 Okay. That was pretty good. Quick little tip, unrelated to triceps. How do I have abs but I don't work them? Well, I just fucking did. At the end of that set, my abs were kind of fucking burning a little bit because every time you do a push down, you're literally fucking flexing your abs to keep yourself in place. You know, once you've got a developed set of abdominals, as long as you're lifting hard, they're not going anywhere. But if your abs are pretty flat, and I mean, frankly, just underdeveloped, then spam some weighted cable crunches. But let's take a few minutes, come back to this. Yeah. 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 Okay. Okay. Let's move on to some skull crushers. Those were some good sets, though. I fucking love going heavy. All right, so plan now. is to pre-exhaust with alternating single arm pushdowns. So I'm gonna do 5 reps on the right side, 5 on the left, back and forth until they're, well, nearly cooked, right? This is like, I was about to make a cooking analogy, but I forget it, whatever. So I'm gonna fry my triceps first and then jump straight to skull crushers on an incline bench. And that'll be a good combination. I did this last arm day, loved it. Or was it the arm day before the last one? Whatever. Okay. One more time around. Okay. Okay. One more. I'm going to switch to a rope for this pre-exhausting set. Partially because I want to do it. This one's fucking broken. Partially because I want to do it, but also because I don't want it to take so long. Doing single-sided movements, it's cool. You can really put a lot of emphasis onto flexing one set at a time. So each tricep gets double your normal attention, but it also takes twice as long. So if you're on a little bit of a time crunch, which I've only got like 35 minutes left, I don't want to waste too much time. Okay. 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 I want to do one more set of something, but I'm not sure what. I better think about it quick. One more set of dips ought to be perfect. Considerably lighter than what I was doing earlier, too. Okay. Oh, this is a fucking finisher. But time for curls. Time for curls. All right, so I've sufficiently warmed up by way of curling the 35s and then the 55s and then now the 70s for a few. Oh, and I got the fucking hiccups. Not awesome. But I think the 70s is probably as heavy as I want to go. I wouldn't mind throwing the 75s around, but somebody dropped one extra hard. So now one of the 75s is like off kilter and it just triggers my OCD. But 70s, as crazy as possible. You know the deal. Actually, let me pick a better song. Oh my god. Fuck. Okay. Oh. Yeah. Let's just leave it at that one. I can feel it doing really heavy curls. It's kind of messing with my elbow just a touch. Oh my goodness. Good set though. Very awesome start. Let's move on to some machine curls. All right, so I even surprised myself. Low bicep volume, one freaking set. So yeah, but your biceps are gonna freaking shrink. Not exactly. Not exactly. Let me explain my thought process. For one thing, in terms of my arm development, triceps are behind, so I don't mind giving triceps a little bit more attention. And then also, I kind of tweak my, like kind of in here in my forearm pit, like brachioradius, like this forearm where it ties in. It's kind of bothering me a little bit. So I think the potential benefits of doing biceps today will probably just keep tweaking that for me. So I'll go a little easy. I'm not like, it's not like an injury, but it is just a little something, which I think if I keep flaring up, could potentially be a fucking hindrance. And you know, if you watch these, you know better than anybody, if something's going to affect the pump, yeah, better hit the brakes, right? So let's just see how we're looking with triceps fully pumped. And even though it was just one set, I did have a little bit of a bicep pump. Doesn't take much, especially when you're fully bulked and hydrated. I was just fucking slamming Gatorade today. All right, so still a little bit of forearms to do after this, but let's see how these upper appendages are looking. So, in theory, biceps shouldn't be as crazy as ever, but triceps should. Ooh, fuck. Dude, yeah, there's a... Oh my goodness, it's like they're fucking swollen. Obviously not to the point of like open bodybuilder level. Like when you see their fucking triceps, that's a little bit nuttier, but nothing that I've got to complain about. I mean, you tell me. Are those some arm skis or what? Oh my goodness. I love a front lat spread with a freaking arm pump. Oh my goodness. Are there any other poses? crucifix. Oh my goodness. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. So, yeah. I'll reiterate, but as time progresses, tricep day is going to become a thing for me. If you watched the last video, I kind of explained, since my back is pretty strong compared to everything else, and so are my shoulders, I want to, oh, you grab whatever. Thanks. I'm taking up all the space, you're good. No, but since, so since my back is ahead of the game, and my shoulders are ahead of the game, I mean, unpumped, I'm like fucking shoulder dominant, you know? So instead of continuing to hit them and have them just continually get bigger and bigger until they're fucking disproportional, I'm gonna back off. So if I take back and shoulders out of the equation, temporarily, not forever, of course, that leaves me with just quads and hamstrings, biceps, triceps, and chest. So just 5 muscle groups. So the split from tomorrow onward for at least a few weeks will look as such: quads, chest, hamstrings and triceps. Wait. No. Quads, chest, hamstrings and biceps, and then triceps on their own, and then repeat. So this is not a split I would recommend to anyone but me specifically right now, because it's based on my own weak points that I want to bring up. And then once my arms are getting close to size in comparison to my shoulders, and my chest and everything else matches my back, then I'll get back to hitting everything at once. But I'm gonna go get a quick little forearm pump. When we're in the car, I'll just do a fucking flex. I should still be residually pumped by then. And then we can go home and eat. All right. I tell you what, I have got a set of sore, well, not really sore, but fatigued triceps, as well as a dead car battery. I wonder if I left the lights on when I went in there. I didn't really notice when I came in, but I bet I did. I had to get a jump, so let's hope I don't sputter out into nothingness on the way home. Seems to be working all right though now. I gotta get I tell you what though, I'm glad I figured that out now instead of later, because I've got oh my goodness, I got a big drive tomorrow that I would not want to be late for. Because guess where destination next week is, starting from, I say tomorrow, but really the next day, because that's a long ass flight. I'm talking transatlantic, headed to the Arnold, UK. So just a repeat of last weekend, except there's going to be more crumpets. And maybe not exactly, but no, that's going to be cool. You got to remember, I see all the demographics, and like YouTube will show you, and like any social media, whatever, it shows you your viewership based on country. And second to the States, UK. So I do not anticipate that it'll be any less packed and exciting at the Arnold in the UK than it was here. So freaking spoiled, man. Get 2 Arnolds in 1 year, plus get to see everybody. It's gonna be freaking crazy. So yeah, that'll be pretty cool. I'm gonna have to get used to kilos. Like, I know, I get the math, you know, every pound or every kilo is 2.2 pounds, but it's still kind of funny when you're actually there. I wonder if it'll, well, is 3 plates? Yeah, you guys over, if your gym has kilo plates, if you're in that sort of demographic, you're spoiled. A 3-plate bench in kilo plates is lighter than 3 plates in the States. Just by a little, of course. It's only, I mean, a 20 kilo plate is 44 pounds, and a plate over here is 45, but something to consider, man. You know, if you get a 3-plate bench in Europe, I don't know, That's only 309 or 30. That's only 308. So add an extra what? 3 kilos? Yeah. Add 1.5 kilos to either side, and then you really got a 3-plate bench. So that'll be cool. I see videos all the time of gyms over there. Super fancy and clean. I'm not sure exactly where, me and Fuad and everybody are going to be training, but I'm sure it's going to look pretty cool. Pretty cool. But regardless of travel, weather, if I'm sick, I will chill. Or if I'm really busy and I just kind of have to chill, then whatever. But no, cardio combined with the lifts in terms of the daily routine will not be impeded. So I think some of the lifts when we're over there are going to be on the Hostile channel. So of course there's not going to be a lifting video over here. But I'm sure I'll just do a little cardio, something or other, to keep you guys updated. I'd hate to break the daily streak. Not that it's really important, but as long as I'm doing a little something lifting related, I'm sure you wouldn't mind tagging along with me. Maybe I'll post like a Q&A something or other and go through like 5 or 6 big questions. And not like, I don't know. We'll figure something out for sure. Don't worry. Do not freaking worry. There will be some clippage over there. But fuck, it's going to be a long flight. I need to pack some food for sure. That's probably what I should focus on tonight. Because you gotta, any lifter serious about progress knows. They know, especially in a bulking context, that you have got to have food with you 24/7. Because if you go too long without eating, guess what, man? More than likely, 90% odds you are not going to hit your calorie goal that day. Because if you're really eating a lot, then you can't just catch up on the slack that you had during the day at night. At least not easily. I've done it before where I have like just crazy meals at the end of the day just to hit my calorie goal. But that's just not the way to do it, An evenly distributed time frame of calorie consumption is going to be your best bet, right? So if you got to eat 4,000 calories to bulk up, it's probably in your best interest to spread that out throughout the day. Good sized breakfast, a nice lunch, however many meals in between then and dinner, and then go to bed and you feel good, If you really just try to spike it at the end of the day, I mean, for one thing, it's just going to be really uncomfortable, like eating that much food at once. But also, if you get behind on your meals, you're going to end up playing catch up for a while. Because this is kind of a loop that I've definitely caught myself in, where I don't eat enough during the day, so I stay up late to finish eating, and then I wake up late, or I wake up like later, so I don't have as much time in the morning to prep something, and then I gotta go to class or go to whatever, and then it's the same thing. It's 2 o'clock and I've only had 1,500 calories. I gotta start slamming food, and then I stay up too late, and it's just a complete fucking spiral. So instead of that, I do try to make sure I consume all my food reasonably evenly. I'm not really one to do meals per se. Like I don't track all my calories. Like, okay, I'm gonna have one meal, and then I have my second meal of rice and potatoes and chicken breast, and then I have my third meal of tilapia and whatever else. It's more like I know how much protein, fats, and carbs I'm gonna eat throughout the day, and I just make sure to eat it, at a reasonably steady pace. Sometimes I have a big ass meal, and sometimes I just have a lot of smaller ones, and I'm kind of snacking. But you got to remember, you can't escape the laws of physics as much as some of us wish we could. Right? And that also applies to thermodynamics. What is a calorie? A calorie is a measure of energy. So if you eat too many calories, your body's going to have to do something with it. And unfortunately for us, excess calories don't just immediately turn into pure muscle. If it did, then this would be fucking awesome. Everybody would be jacked out of their mind. It'd be fucking awesome. It'd just be cool. What happens is, for the most part, calorie surpluses in excess of useful, it's just going to end up to more fat deposition. More fat being deposited onto your fucking body, you know. And there's no escaping that, right? If I was eating twice or like 1.5 times the amount of food I'm eating right now, even with the amount of food, or no, the amount of like training and cardio and everything else, if I was doing 8,000 calories on a daily basis, I would be fucking fat in no time. You know? Now, I can't even do that. I'm trying to work my way up to even just fucking, what was I about to say? I'm trying, like, even for me, 5,000 is like, I'm definitely bulking manually. I'm not just eating when I'm hungry and then hitting 5,000. Like, it definitely takes some effort. But let's say I could eat an insane amount more food. Yeah, I'd just get fucking fat, you know? So you have to recognize that, and then also recognize if you want to lose body fat, if you want to take some body fat off your frame and unveil the godlike Greek physique that you built underneath, you're going to have to deal with, you know, being hungry. Right? There's no trick. There's no ab workout. You can definitely make it easier on yourself by eating foods which make you full but don't have a lot of calories, right? Kind of fluff foods, if you will, like a lot of vegetables and like high fiber breads and, you know, low calorie options. And the more of those you can eat, the easier you're going to have, or the easier time you're going to have staying in a deficit. So what else was I about to freaking say? So yeah, if you want to lose body fat, then it is going to take some effort. It won't just fucking happen. Oh man, I got squeaky brakes too. The Camry's getting old. But what was I about to say next? Yeah. So there's no getting around it. You got to be able to muster up the mental toughness to deal with going to bed hungry. Not like starving, of course, but if you're in a deficit, fuck man, you got to deal with it. So that's all I got to say there. Plan now. I was gonna stop at Chipotle. That I'm sure that guy will watch this video. He was giving me a look. He's got cambered wheels and a kit car, or fuck, what's the word? I don't remember. Looks pretty cool though. So if you're him, I like it. But what was it? Yeah, that's all I gotta say. If you want to gain weight, you may have to eat to a level of uncomfortability. And if you want to lose weight, primarily body fat, you're going to have to control yourself to a level which may be a little bit uncomfortable, you know? But, you know, we're getting into some fucking Full Metal Alchemist philosophy here. But you can't gain anything without giving up something first. Right? So you can't just get huge without putting in the energy to eat that many calories. And you're not going to get lean without backing off and, you know, dealing with a little bit of fucking hunger. Now, some people are spoiled and they have an easier time bulking up because they just have a higher appetite. They don't have a slower metabolism, and they don't have like any buzzword like that people say is an excuse about how they can't gain or lose weight. Bullshit. Just a fucking excuse. However, some people are just going to have a higher appetite, and some people are going to have a naturally lower appetite. So guys whose appetites are naturally lower are the guys who just walk around fucking lean. And I'm not talking like totally diced, but just, you know, low-ish body fat. They kind of eat whenever they want to eat, but they just don't want to eat that much. Like by the time they've eaten around maintenance calories for the day, they're good. You know, they're pretty full. And then some guys, fuck man, they just want to chow down. You know, he can't be controlled. This is just something you're going to have to deal with. But yeah, man, if you got a naturally higher appetite, you're going to have a harder time getting lean. And then if you have a naturally lower appetite, of course you get to walk around leaner all the time, but you're going to have a tougher time bulking up. I think I'm right in the middle-ish. I don't have too much issues eating in a surplus or eating in a deficit. But when I'm in either state, right, I do make sure to go all fucking in so I can actually make progress, you know? Like, if I mean, I'm sure you know dudes who are like, they say they're bulking. They say, oh, dude, I eat so much. I mean, you might have one day where you ate like 4,000 calories. But then if the rest of them you're only eating 2,000 or just barely above maintenance, yet you still expect the scale to change, I tell you what, man, I can't find your address. Where'd you text me to go? La La Land? That's where you're at? Fuck, man. Unfortunate. And then, and this goes for anyone, not everybody's a freaking bodybuilder, but anybody who's trying to lose body fat, at the end of the day, too many calories are being consumed. And there's things you can do about that, you know. When I bulk, or no. When I cut down, I'm not eating that much sweets. I'm not chowing down on chocolate milk and fucking Skittles and fruit snacks and full sugar Gatorade and like Sprite and whatever else. Because those foods have a lot of calories, right? I could eat fucking 400 calories of fruit snacks in like 3 seconds, and it's not going to make me feel very full. So when I diet down, and when anybody diets down, they should be trying to eat low calorie dense foods, you know. So fuck, man, post training, when I'm dieting down, I'm not gonna have a bowl of fucking rice and a ton of chicken with barbecue sauce. You know, I've got some low carb, or more like high fiber bread or tortillas, turkey, mustard, low fat mayonnaise, and then a bunch of lettuce. And when I finish 3 of those sandwiches, which would have maybe an equivalent calorie count, like 400 calories, I'm pretty full because I've eaten like a lot of food. There's a lot of just physical food in my freaking belly, and I'm like, oh, I'm stuffed. But if I were to eat those fucking fruit snacks, it would be the same amount of calories entering my system, but being a faster digesting, calorie source, just straight up sugar, it's gonna hit you quick. It's gonna mess with your, your blood sugar. Then you're gonna have an appetite later, right? So when I'm eating a bunch of treats when I'm bulking up, I don't have so much issue with it because my goal is high calorie intake. I need fucking energy to, stimulate and maintain growth. But when I diet down, complete opposite scenario, right? So it's you just got to be able to flip a switch in your mind. And if you can really identify with what you're doing, then you shouldn't have too much problem, When I diet down and I'm eating in a deficit and I'm fucking hungry, I'm not thinking, oh man, I'm freaking starving. Oh, boo-hoo for me. This sucks. I'm dieting. This is an aspect that's going to come along with it. It's it's an effort that I'm putting in, but it's for the greater goal of getting fucking lean and diced and seeing all sorts of striations everywhere else, and resetting my metabolism and my insulin sensitivity and all sorts of other shit so that I can bulk again harder. So if you don't have a solid connection with kind of the purpose of what you're doing, then you're not going to be able to go that hard, Like, when it comes to, this is like a study. It was like I don't remember where this is fucking from. They had 2 lifters, and one constantly visualized his end goal of size and strength or whatever else, and then the other one didn't. And the guy who's constantly visualizing, where he wants to be, he did better. And it's not because magically his mind made his body more prone to muscle protein synthesis. The more you can kind of think about your common goal while you're literally in the middle of taking steps toward it, I think it's going to make those steps that you're taking longer and faster because you're fucking excited, If I went into every workout and I had no idea why I was doing it, I probably wouldn't want to keep fucking pushing these sets hard at all. I would do a set and be like, oh man, this fucking hurts my bicep, dude. Oh, my fucking triceps are on fire. Why am I doing this? I mean, just, training is literally uncomfortable, So if I had no greater end goal, why the fuck would I do it? Right? But I know I want bigger fucking triceps, and I want to be the kind of guy who can train hard and endure, a good-ass fucking workout. That kind of stuff actually makes me fucking go harder. So take with that what you will. I think that was pretty cohesive. But plan for tomorrow is the first day of a new temporary split where I kind of focus a little bit more on my weak points, more individually. And then I better eat a freaking ton of food because I'm going to be sleeping on a plane tomorrow night. So maybe I'll try to pack some. I have some Tupperware at the house, or some like some meal prep containers. I better fill them up with some classic bodybuilding food. I'm not typically eating a bunch of chicken and rice just in a bowl because for the most part, I'm never gone from the house or from like wherever I'm living for too long. Like I got to go back and forth to class and stuff, but I'm only gone for a few hours. So usually I can come back and cook something right then. But like I was saying earlier, whenever you're gone for a substantial period of time, like 8-hour workday, you're a high schooler, so you're actually at school the whole day, you better pack a serious lunch. Or hope you got some vending machines with some protein bars or something. But that's all I got. So, UK trip, I will keep you updated. But see you tomorrow for quads.